And we're live.
Hey, there
Let's
it
hope
is.
this one works.
Okay, let's have a look here. You do looks good to me on my end. How
All
are
right.
you doing, my friend? How are you?
I'm good, man. We're 4 minutes early, but had a little bit of technical difficulties, but we're starting the show early despite that. How are you doing, man?
Oh man, it's been a day today. Literally shattered my phone, turned that into a brick. Got an old one warming up right now after the show. I'll switch everything over and see what's happening. But
You
other
got
than
an old
that,
phone, eh?
well, I tend not to throw them out, because I just go, you know what? You never know when you're going to break your phone. Like, so I keep an old one, and it's like, all right, well, what am I going to do now?
Yeah, well, that's actually the smart thing to do. I tend to not really replace my phone until my old one is kind of unusable. So
My old one is on the fritz, so it's going to be trying to see if I can find a new screen and do all that, and just a great time.
My last phone is functioning, but I couldn't use Instagram on it. So if I did break this screen, I could go back to my old one. But the operating system was too old or something, so they wouldn't update shit. So I just said, okay, I'll buy a new one. So
that's it, man. Maybe that's what I'm probably going to have to do too, is buy a new one. It's always a good time.
How many months you got left on your contract?
Good question. I have 10.
10? Oh, that sucks.
Oh, dude, that is horrible. Did you share this on Facebook, Instagram, all that bullshit?
Yeah, it's shared on our page.
All right, let's have a peek here.
I can share it on my Facebook page while I'm at it. Oh. They always want me to share stuff as No Offense. I want to share it as Adam. I'm a human being.
No, you're not. You're a monster. You're a machine.
I don't know about that. Why am I a machine?
I have no idea. It just sounded like something the right thing to say.
Well, I appreciate it.
What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. That's the kind of day. That's just the day I'm having, man.
So you smashed your phone. That sucks when we smash our phones, man.
Oh, man, is it ever. Oh, it is the absolute... Nice. Greatest thing since boxing. Greatest thing to happen to boxing since Mike Tyson.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
Well, we'll talk about that. I shared it. I'll shut down Facebook now. We'll talk about it, man. So, how's everything? How's COVID bullshit? All that fun stuff? How's it going on?
COVID is bullshit. That's all I can say, man.
Absolutely. When did we allow our government to have so much power?
Well, that's it. Is like I said on the last show. At first, it was okay. 2 weeks, shut everything down. It seems like they shouldn't be allowed to do that. But if that's what we got to do, buckle down for 2 weeks. We'll get through this. 2 weeks has turned into a year, and I don't know. We're into April or
yeah. So it's like almost. When did we shut down? March 16th.
Yeah. So
we shut her down. So we're a year and a month into it.
Yeah.
We're 13 months.
And we're getting like 10,000 new cases a day.
Like how long? You want to know how long that was? I was able to get my wife pregnant, had a child. The child's now 5 months, and I still can't leave my fucking goddamn area. Like, that's how fucking long. The kid's gonna have a fucking beard like this old man, and he's like, oh, 1 more week.
What was life like before COVID?
I don't even remember.
Yeah. I'll tell you this, man. This week was WrestleMania. And the WrestleMania before it was a COVID WrestleMania, and it feels like it was a decade ago. That's how long this has been going. This is how slow life has been moving, very slowly. And now in Ontario, we have, instead of going from lockdown, instead of going to a gray lockdown, instead of going to a red lockdown, now we have a stay-at-home order, which nobody knows what it means, but now they've taken the stay-at-home order and they put even further restrictions on. Now, I don't even know what the restrictions they've added. You're not even allowed to leave your house without the police harassing you.
Holy fuck, no shit. Like, it's like we're the Jewish community in Germany in the 30s. Like, I mean, tattoo your postal code on your forearm, wear your little patch, and make sure you have your vaccination cards on you, because if not, you're going to jail.
I don't really like to make that comparison, but it is valid a little bit because...
it's 100% on the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, but you're not allowed to leave your house without your papers, without your valid excuse. It has to be essential. If they pull you over, and they can pull you over for no reason now, they can just pull you over and say, hey, where are you going? And if they don't like your excuse, they give you a $700 and some odd dollar fine, and
but like,
it doesn't feel right anymore.
It doesn't feel right. It's horrible. We literally gave the government like 2 inches. We're like, okay, we're all behind you on this. Let's get this done quickly.
Yeah.
Holy fuck. They ran 17 miles with that cocksucker.
I mean, man, like I was saying, we weren't allowed to have people over for like into our own house. The government has said you're not allowed to have people in your own house. Now you're not allowed to go outside of your house. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like, I get it. People's lives are at stake. I get it. But like, I'm an adult. My parents are vaccinated, and I'm an adult. If I get this COVID thing, I'll survive. I'm not allowed to go, and never mind go to somebody else's house. Never mind even if I don't want to go to somebody's house. This pandemic's been long. If I just want to go for a drive in my contained vehicle, go somewhere just to clear my head, get out and have a nice relaxing drive, they can fine me for that. That's not essential.
Correct. Could you imagine that though? I want you to think about that. Like, you're just driving.
Yeah.
Like, so here's like my problem. Like, if it's raining, I just take the kid in the car for an hour. Let's go for a drive.
Yeah.
You know what? We'll go check out a golf course. We'll drive around, just go for a peek.
Yeah.
So the kid sleeps. Cop pulls me over. What are you doing? My kid's screaming. There's gonna be conversations outside of the vehicle. Yeah. Like, what the fuck, dude? Why do you need to pull me over? Why? Like, literally, my stickers are up to date. I'm not speeding. I got my kid in the car sleeping. And I now stop. Now he's screaming. Now it's coming out of your ass.
And if your answer isn't going to my essential job or going to get groceries, you're breaking the law. Apparently, the law.
The law, the big L. You know what? I don't care. I support. I kind of support. Don't support. Like those protesters that are like, end the lockdown. I'm like, okay, guys, I understand. But like, if you just socially distanced it, you can just tell the government to go fuck themselves. I think that's probably the best.
Well, listen, like, I'm not an anti-masker. I've been on both sides of this argument, and I think that the masks are a great idea. I get it. You put on a mask, it's like covering your mouth when you cough. You cough, you cover your mouth, it's polite. We're regulating politeness, and maybe it's saving lives. I get it. People should have to wear masks. You have to go in a store, you have to wear a mask. It's going to protect the other guy. It's a shield to protect other people. But you can't leave your house for any excuse unless the government says it's okay. You can't have people in your own house. Where's the line? Like, where is it? Okay, we're getting a little too far here.
Well, exactly. That's crazy to me, right? Like,
yeah. And you know what's even weirder is there are people that if you just raise these questions, they're like, no, like, you're wrong. You're not allowed. You're a crazy person just for asking questions. Like, I'm just saying, there are some things that I think that makes sense. There are times when I said, that's okay, we'll let the government, but there's a point where it's like, man, we're getting a little too far here. That's all I'm saying. Where is the line? That's all I'm asking.
I'll tell you where the line is, and I think it's going to happen if we don't get these numbers down.
Okay.
They're going to stop because they've already said to Airbnbs, no Airbnbs at all.
Wow.
So that's already the thing. Airbnbs shuttered down because we can't have people congregating, doing all this bullshit. Now, some people need that Airbnb to live, but if I can't travel to Toronto, why should I get an Airbnb? Does that make sense to you? Like, I can't.
Let me ask you this. Are hotels shut down?
No, they are not, but they have designated COVID ones.
So what's the difference between a hotel and an Airbnb? It's just who owns it,
I believe it's the cleaning products that people can be held up for. So you can go into a business, you can find, because what happens is that it's still considered a home. So you can't, like, for a business, you go, we need to see everything. You can't do that to a home. So if they can't inspect it whenever they want, you can't have it open. What they're going to do, if they're very fucking smart and you really want to end it, shut down Grindr, Tinder, Bumble, all these pickup sites, Christian Mingle, all this stuff where people can no longer, where you would like meet, shut those down.
I will say that Tinder and Bumble and whatever. I have been on these sites during the pandemic, and when there's a lockdown and you're talking to somebody on Tinder and you want to get together with them, it certainly puts a cramp in your game, because it's like, hey, we've been talking for a couple weeks here. We can't get together. Can't go to coffee. I guess we'll just keep chatting on the internet about nothing and not really ever get to know each other, because you don't really get to know each other that well on the internet. And it sort of, people start to lose interest. To certain people, you stop messaging as much, and it certainly has put a cramp in.
Well, at what point do you just give up and just go get some?
I mean, at some point, it's like normally it's like at some point, hey, we got to meet up, But if you can't
I'd like
meet up,
to, because I don't want to waste my time.
Exactly.
Even though I'm sitting at home and I have all the time in the world,
Yep.
I'd rather be doing something else than having you stuck in my hand
Yeah.
as we message each other.
Exactly. We got to shit or get off the pot, as they say.
Like that analogy again, buddy. That is a good one. But I honestly think, is that where it's going to stop?
Yeah. Is that where it's going to stop? You think the government should shut down Tinder and Bumble and all these other sites?
I don't have a horse in that race, man. I'm a married man. I don't care. I do not care.
I do want to point out that it was odd that the first one you mentioned was Grindr.
Well, you said that's where you met your boyfriend at, right?
Hey, man, I'm not judging anyone. I just thought it was odd that of all the ones you listed, you're like, they should shut down Grindr, Tinder. I wouldn't have even thought of Grindr, but I guess you
Listen, man. Listen, I told you this before, man. I support the LGBTQ community.
So do I.
So I just figured, you know what? How often is it that a straight guy will support gay people? So I just said, you know what? Here it is. Grindr. That's what I wanted. You know what? I'm out here supporting my friends. That's what I'm doing.
Hey, man, I'm good. That's cool. I get it. That's cool. But, I probably would have mentioned one that I use first. That's all I'm saying.
I don't use one. I don't use one.
Have you ever used any of these sites?
No, never had to.
Never had to, really?
Never had to.
You've never used Tinder?
No, never.
Really? Because you've been single since Tinder has been invented.
Have I?
I believe so, yeah.
I think I'm going on 8 years with the wife.
Really? 8 years?
Dating? 8 years, yeah. We not married 5 almost, but
I'm sure Tinder was around when we used to.
I think I was on POF back in the day.
Okay.
Like when I visited Ottawa for about 6 months. I think I was on there, and then I deactivated after a week because I just couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah, you did go to. Was it 6 months or was it 6 weeks?
I was 6 months, but I was back and forth every once in a while.
Yeah, I remember you were in North Bay every weekend, but you lived in Ottawa.
Yeah, it's funny how many people travel back and forth between Ottawa and North Bay, especially at that time. We're like, hey, I'm going up. You want to ride? You're like, I got nothing to do.
Yeah.
But I've done some damage in Ottawa. It was a good time.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, man. I guess we should probably get into the show.
Aren't we already into the show? Aren't we a few minutes deep here?
I mean, we got stories to talk about, is what I'm saying.
We got headlines, bro.
We got headlines. And I think everybody knows what the first story is going to be.
Oh, Adam on Grindr. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not on Grindr.
Oh.
I'm not even on Tinder, so.
Oh, you're not? Little Tinder surprise out there. What is the first story you'd like to talk about today, my friend?
Well, if anyone's been watching, paying attention to what's been going on, last night there was a boxing match. Did you see the show last night, my friend? And what a show it was.
I wouldn't pay for it.
Jean-Marc, for those who just tune in, every time we have a pay-per-view, Jean-Marc points out that he wouldn't pay for it. This time,
I wouldn't pay for it.
I kind of agree with him.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Here's the deal. You said you want to know how much I didn't pay attention to this. You asked me, "Are you watching the fights tonight?"
Yeah.
And I said I wouldn't pay for them because it was a fight night. It was UFC. I totally forgot about Logan Paul fighting Gurskin or whatever the hell that guy's name was.
Askren.
Whatever, fuckers. I don't care. The guy who ate the canvas. I don't care.
Yeah. Well,
I was like, oh, and then I was like, I guess.
I cared a lot going into the fight, but we'll get into the end. We'll get into that. Let's talk a little bit about this pre-show. I think that I texted you what the fuck am I watching when Steve Urkel got high with Snoop Dogg?
Man, have the 90s not come around full circle?
What Steve Urkel? Like, and he looks exactly like he did when he was a kid. Like
he looks like an adult version of Steve Urkel. It's amazing when he turned around. I was like, "Hey, Snoop Dogg!" I'm like, "Holy
Did
fuck,
I do that?
What's up? Oh, I like a little cheese on it." I'm like, dude, this fucking guy didn't age.
And he's smoking weed with Snoop Dogg. Like, did you ever think?
He's got his own brand. He's got his own Urkel weed.
Is that what it was?
He's got his own. Like, I can't remember the guy's name, but he go ahead.
Jalal White, I think it is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think it's Jalal White. He's got his own weed, and him and Snoop Dogg were smoking it on the air.
Is that what it was? I didn't really.
Yeah.
At a certain point, I was like, I can't fucking watch this shit. Like, it's cool that like there's a part of me can appreciate the once in a lifetime meeting of Steve Urkel and Snoop Dogg smoking weed together on pay-per-view. But another part of me is like, I don't want to fucking watch this shit. What am I doing with my life?
Dude, I thought that part, like when I seen that part and I was giggling and I was kind of like, you know what? Good job, guys. Like, good job. That was a high point of the show. I want you to think about that. Steve Urkel, smoking weed with Snoop Dogg was a high point of the show.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, what did we watch? Yeah, well, I'm going to say the rest of the show, like, it was a boxing match. Like, it was a boxing show with a bunch of fights on it.
It wasn't, see, this is where we got to be careful. Mm-hmm. I don't think that should be considered boxing.
Why is that?
That was entertaining fighting with thicker gloves.
Were they wearing non-regulation gloves? I didn't really look into that.
No, part. They were, but their gloves were either heavier or lighter. Like they were wearing like I think not 8 ounce or 10 ounce.
Okay.
Like or like they were a little higher, so nobody would really get injured.
Okay.
But like I didn't know half the fucking people on that card.
Well, a lot of them were former MMA fighters, YouTube stars. There was there
a billionaire? Is it a billion or billionaire?
They said there was a billionaire who was fighting a guy that fucked his wife or something. I didn't really catch all that.
Like it was like, hey, you're dating my girlfriend. Now I want to fucking fight you. And he goes, well, why don't we fight in the ring? Make it official. And he's like, all right.
And that's the thing is boxing has become a sideshow industry. The fights are all sideshows, but for a long time, like I used to watch the Tyson fights when I was a kid. When Mike Tyson, back in the 80s, my parents had one of those big, giant satellite dishes. You remember, I think.
Yeah, and it took like 30 years to move over. Like,
and then whatever. So we would always have people over to watch whatever the big event was. We would always watch the Mike Tyson fights. And then Tyson went to jail. Boxing got a little less interesting. Tyson comes back. All of a sudden, boxing's interesting again.
What?
And then Tyson kind of gets beat up a lot, retires. And boxing, there's not a lot of people going up to my parents to watch boxing fights anymore. There's not a lot of get-togethers with you to watch boxing fights. There's not.
So like, here's the thing. Like I watched.
It used to be.
And I enjoy boxing. Yeah. So like I've watched the Pacquiao fights. Okay. I've watched Mayweather. Like I've been physically with guys in the last 10 years to watch a Pacquiao fight.
Sure. How many people do you think were doing that though? Not as mainstream as it was back in the day when I used to watch it.
No, for sure. Yeah. Because everybody would be talking about the Tyson fight, right? You'd be like, wow, did you see that Tyson fight? It was great.
But now that we've got YouTubers, now that we've got sideshow events, all of a sudden it's fucking relevant again.
Absolutely, which is kind of crazy. I'm like, but it's shitty. Like literally, I wasn't entertained by the boxing matches.
I will say that the boxing was not as skillful and was not as good, but it's interesting that we're seeing they're having to resort to sideshows to get interest back in, and I think we're going to see a transition phase where they seemed a little bit resistant to it for a while. They wanted to, there was a lot of guys trying to make it on skill, and Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather and whatever. It didn't get as much attention as it used to. Like I said, Floyd Mayweather, one of the most skilled boxers that's ever existed, didn't get as much attention as Mike Tyson knocking guys out in 45 seconds, right? So now they're resorting, instead of going for skills, they're going for sideshow, they're going for spectacle. I think they're going to dip as deep into this spectacle as they can to get an audience, and then maybe a Mike Tyson's going to come. Maybe, Muhammad Ali or somebody's going to come and just hit, and they're going to have the skill, and they're going to bring people along for the ride. Maybe it's going to be Jake Paul. Maybe Jake Paul will get to that level where he's skilled enough to do it. He is a young guy. He's only 24. He could reach that level at some point. But what I'm saying is, for now, they're going to embrace the spectacle, the sideshow aspect, and then they're going to segue that into something more serious along the way.
I don't know if they can.
You don't think they can? Why is that? Once
you bring it down so low, people will not go back to it just in case it comes back down again. Nobody, after last night and seeing like Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, boxing's dead. That's what they said. Now I'm like,
boxing is dead. Is that what people are saying?
Boxing is dead. They're like, now we're done with boxing. Boxing is done.
Well, I will say this, that I don't know how long that show was. I can't even remember. It started at like 8 o'clock.
Dude, it was 4 hours.
4 hours.
Okay, so I watched it 9 o'clock on.
Oh, I watched
it at 1:30.
I watched it. I think I watched it even before that. 7 or 8 o'clock was when I started. But honestly, man, in Canada, we used to have a show called Electric Circus. It was like watching that for most of the time. Just people dancing and like a bunch of singers that I've never heard of. At one point, the person I was watching with, there was a girl in the ring singing and then a girl up on a stage. And she goes, which one of these is the celebrity? Like, whose song is this? Who's this is one of these people's songs. Which one is it? And I don't know who any of these people are. The first singer I actually recognized was Ice Cube, and then I don't even think he sang. Like,
oh, he did, but like,
did he, yeah,
he got a couple tunes in.
Okay.
I was pretty stoked. Like, I was in the washroom, like having a leak, and all of a sudden, I'm like, holy fuck! It's like, whatever his songs were. I'm like, I know that guy. Perfect. I'm good with it.
The first guy that I know. It's only 3 hours into the show.
And what, Snoop Dogg was there singing it out and stuff like that.
Yeah, and the commentary, man. Like, as someone who does commentary on wrestling events, the commentary was terrible. Oh my God.
Okay, something we can disagree on.
You thought the commentary was good.
Oh, I thought it was fucking amazing.
What did you like about the commentary?
Okay. Are we going to break down the fights, or do you want to like...
I don't want to... I'm not skilled enough to break down the fights.
Okay. Dude, I get there. I'm listening to it. I messaged you right away. I'm like, is that fucking Snoop Dogg?
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg's literally on commentary.
Yeah.
The one I came in, it was just before 9, so there was that one fight. The guy's like, the motherfucker who drops an N-bomb is just running around the ring trying to hide. I'm like, okay. He's like, I'm going to smoke another joint. Somebody bring me another beer or bring me one other drink. And I'm like, all right, cool. Dude, then they had like different people come in through the thing. Oscar De La Hoya was so fucked up. He shouldn't have had a mic.
I didn't know.
He
was on there? I didn't even notice he was on there. I knew.
Dude, he was on the second last fight because he might have to take the winner of that one because he was on there and he was talking about how good he was and he was talking like the guy's name was like USS or something USS.
Oh, I remember that. They were calling him USSA,
and then it was USSR, and they're like Russia, and like De La Hoya is just gooned. Yeah. And like poor Mario Lopez.
Yeah.
Like
Mario Lopez, I believe, has a boxing background. Am I wrong about that?
He might. I don't know. But poor Mario.
A little boxing, like not professional, obviously, because he makes money off this. But I think he did a little bit of like sparring to keep in shape.
Mario Lopez is probably was the highest paid person there.
Okay. All right.
Because he is on like the entertainment shows. Like he's on a legit network. I'm not saying Fight's not a legit network. Don't get mad if you're a Fight fan, but like he's on a legit network. So like everybody's smoking weed and drinking and doing all this. And like poor Mario Lopez is like, what am I doing? I went from Dancing with the Stars and all these entertainment shows and being a genuine known as a nice guy. And it's like, now I'm stuck between Snoop Dogg and some old guy calling a match and they're passing joints around. And it was like,
so what I'm hearing is on wrestling and even on sports, you've got the play-by-play and the color guy, right?
Yep.
I'm hearing a very color-heavy show, not a whole lot of play-by-play. Even Mario Lopez, he doesn't really have the technical eyes to say this guy's going to wear him out. This guy's going to rope-a-dope him.
No, but like it was so shitty. Like it was like watching a schoolyard fight. But like kids, like not like us at a bar, like we're pitted a few fights. You know, you're gonna see somebody get knocked out. Like these guys had like their hands were weak, so they had to put the commentary as entertaining as they could.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wouldn't be surprised next time if they get like Kevin Hart.
Okay, but that's an interesting point. Now I am going to disagree with you. I will say that there was a color-heavy commentary panel, but I didn't find it very entertaining. I think that guys smoking weed and being drunk and whatever, I would rather maybe a professional comedian who says something funny would be more entertaining than a guy who's just hammered rambling about stuff.
So that's what I said. Like maybe they'll go and spend money and get Kevin Hart.
That would be a good idea.
Like get Kevin. Like, that's what I always said to you about hockey. Was like, and I'll use this as an example. Like take two shitty teams, give it to a network where they can swear.
Sure.
And then put like fucking a couple of commentary guys. Like, doesn't matter, like, just a couple of comedians out just talking shit. You know, do it for football, do it for wrestling or whatever have you, like what they kind of did. I thought it was entertaining.
Well, they did have a professional comedian on there that was Peter, Pete Davidson, yeah. And his idea of humor was to make fun of the guys in the main event for being shitty. That's what I want to do when I pay money for a pay-per-view. This guy's a bum that I've never heard of, and Jake Paul's a YouTuber that's famous. I don't even know what for. That's what I want to do.
Dude, like, but did you see? No, I didn't see. So, like, when they had Pete Davidson and Snoop Dogg were on together and they were sitting down smoking a joint, and he's like, we were watching SpongeBob the other day, and like, Snoop Dogg's like, why the fuck are you watching? He's like, oh, me and my buddy ate a bunch of shrooms, and then we were watching SpongeBob, and you were in SpongeBob. And he's like, yeah, when SpongeBob calls me, he's like, yo, Snoop Dogg, that's SpongeBob. You gotta be up here. He's like, so I showed up and I was with SpongeBob because everybody loves SpongeBob. I'm like,
I didn't catch that, but I'll tell you what I did catch. The Nature Boy. Woo! Ric Flair, the highlight of the entertainment section of the show.
How much cocaine is that? When is that old man going to stop cocaine?
I never, man. He will not stop partying. That is for sure.
His face was so red.
Yeah.
And he walked in, even when he walked in, and they're like, "Oh, it's Ric Flair." And I'm like, "Oh my god!" And you look at his face, and it's beat red. And then you look and say, "What the fuck's this?" Rick Ross, baby, give a big hug. Woo, the Nature's here. I'm like, "Oh my god!"
And then of all the times to say it, that fucking SNL clown goes, I'm supposed to be a professional, serious person, celebrity. What the fuck am I doing here? And Ric Flair is at least decent enough to say, well, you want to get on my Learjet and fly the fuck out of here with me?
Right after the show. Let's go to Vegas, baby. Let's do it. You know, it's Ric
Flair.
But like, out of all the things to get Ric Flair to call a slap fight.
Yeah. What the fuck was that? Ric Flair, I guess he's known for his chops, so woo! Makes a little bit of sense, maybe.
I enjoyed the slap fight.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
I enjoyed Ric Flair going 1, 2, 3, smack, woo! I'm like, ooh. Guy got knocked out. Ric Flair left, but then he was still partying. Like, yeah, I don't know.
I'm going to be honest, my friend. That was probably the hardest pay-per-view I've ever had to sit through, and I've watched some stinkers in my life.
I'd almost put that on WrestleMania, but the same level.
You would put it as the same level as WrestleMania? This year, yeah. You think it's good?
Hey, man, but WrestleMania this year wasn't good.
WrestleMania this year was not good, but I would say that this was harder to watch than anything. I don't think I've ever seen a pay-per-view that was harder to watch. And there was like a sliver of what I paid for.
Can I tell you the worst pay-per-view I've ever seen?
Sure.
The first time the Paul brothers fought?
Yeah.
They had good boxing on before that. I believe Canelo fought in the first one.
Okay.
Dude, it was really good. Then they didn't want to go against UFC, so they stalled it without entertainment for an hour and a half. They showed, we're watching on the zone. They showed boxers sleeping on a couch.
Wow, that's terrible.
That was terrible. The worst.
That was the worst.
This one, what I thought of this one was I said you almost got it. They had entertainment in between the delays because they know their fights are so shitty and it's a gimmick. It's a gimmick to get eyes. Mm-hmm. Like, dude, probably got 50 million people to watch that.
So here's the thing. Okay, I understand that, I don't know, I didn't time these, whatever, but I understand that some of the fights are short. So if you have a short fight, you're expecting 10 rounds, 8 rounds, and it only goes to the first round, you have longer time to stall. This happens in the UFC all the time. What they'll do is they'll have pre-taped fights from the undercard that didn't happen, or they'll have hype up videos to hype up the main event or the upcoming event. They'll have interviews with the fighters. This was a pay-per-view where I pretty much just watched music videos of people I've never even heard of. I paid to watch mostly music videos of people I've never even heard of.
Hey, man, that's why I wouldn't pay for it, baby. You got to get on JM's page. I wouldn't pay for it.
Well, you're right. I did pay for it, and I do regret it.
No, but I want you to think about this, though. If they had 50 million eyes on that, 50 million people watch that, let's just say, that's probably about what it should come out to, I would think. That's a lot of eyes.
Joey with the numbers, shout out to Joey with the numbers, says, it would have been better to me if it was just strictly fights. I agree. And he said the music and extra stuff was all boring. I agree 100%. That's the point that I'm trying to make. The music.
See, I'm old enough to be a Del Hoya lover, to watch him completely fucked out of his mind.
Yeah.
And talking about, like, they were on the air saying, like, I stopped by Snoop Dogg, Snoop and I had to smoke a joint. Like, that is a highlight of a life for somebody. Like, even for me, I don't even smoke weed. Yeah. I go, even probably you I don't even know if you ever smoked weed.
No, I haven't, no.
Dude, like, if you're like, Snoop Dogg offered to smoke weed with me, give me one puff. Like, Elon Musk smoking weed with Joe Rogan. Like, you get a chance to smoke weed with Snoop Dogg, you take a puff of that joint.
Listen, man, I will be honest. I've been sober. I'm straight edge. Straight edge is for life.
Just like the NWO.
If Snoop Dogg passed me a joint, it would be difficult to say no. But if Ric Flair passed along a shot, it'd be almost impossible to say no to that.
Okay, there we go. We're on the same page then. We'd be able to go, oh man, if Ric Flair handed you a shot.
It'd be like, I haven't drank in 20 years. I am a sober person.
So like, if I met Ric Flair after I was done crying, after I was physically done weeping, I can tell you this right now, I would take my tarp off and make sure he gave me a fucking good shot.
Yeah.
A woo. Like, you're obviously going to get a few woos and a shot. That's all I'd want. My life would be complete at that point.
So Joey with the number says the De La Hoya stuff was funny and I liked the commentary, but it felt like it was 45 minutes of music, then a 15-minute fight. I'm going to say it felt like it was an hour and a half of music and maybe a 3 or 4 minute fight, in my opinion.
But here's the deal, though. Like, we're stuck in Canada where I watched it alone. You had a friend, but like, literally I was by myself. So during that time, like, the music, got a drink, I'm on my phone, I'm not paying attention. That's like if you're at a party, right? Like, remember back in the day, you're at a party? You go, okay, what are we going to do? Well, we got fucking 4 music videos on, okay? The girls are enjoying themselves. We're just going to sit here, go for a dart, a cigar, a joint, whatever you're doing.
That's different. See, you know what? Now that you say it like that, if I was in a party situation, if I was at maybe a bar, maybe that'd be a different environment, I mean, perhaps
you got the fight on, so the fight ends. You get I don't even know half the board, but Beebs was there. You know what? I got love for Beebs. I got love. I enjoyed the Beebs show, but like,
so I get it.
Couple girls are like, oh yeah, cool. It's over all the sound in the bar, so they're kind of dancing. You're having a good time. You're out doing whatever you got to do, eat your chicken wing or whatever the fuck you're doing. And then another fight comes on. You go, cool. So
you got food, you got strippers, you got a little bit of alcohol, you got some music, you got a little bit of comedy, and you got a little bit of acting. Did you see that second main event, the one just before the main event? I'm going to say that guy gets an award for the best actor on the show.
Bro, okay. I'm going to say because you and I have been buddies.
Yeah.
We've both been hitting the nuts.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
I know that for a fact.
Okay.
That dive, the minute, I like the angle you seen it on, and it was like, and he dropped. I'm like, man, I'm like, unless he's got his, I thought, I'm like, where the fuck did that hit?
Yeah.
Because even watching it live when he dropped,
yeah.
I said, okay. I said, so what I thought happened was he hit him in the stomach.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, he lost his wind. He just like knocked the wind out of him. Was like, oh, and then fell over.
Yeah.
He's like, my dick. I'm like, dude, bro.
Yeah. Well, the person I was with, they said, what? He didn't get hit in the nuts. And I'm like, oh no, he must have taken it in the gut and it just, maybe it hurt his ribs or blew his guts out and he just lost his wind and he was down.
That's it.
And then it's like he sells it like his nuts are hit. Like he sells it like he got hit in the nuts. And we're both looking at it like trying to make sense of the whole situation. And then they show an instant replay and he hits him like it's like in the side, like almost in the lat. And his arm is protecting it. And then he just goes down like he's hitting the nuts.
It looks like when he hits him, it looks like he misses completely. Then his elbow kind of hits him in the hip, and the fucker just dropped. Here's my problem. You're trying something new. You already have shitty fights. Yeah. You're trying to make it entertaining.
I don't think he was trying to make it entertaining. I think he was trying not to lose. He was getting beat up.
You're trying to make like the show entertaining.
Sure.
This fucking clown dives. He completely fucked your whole show.
Yeah.
Why? Because of what happens in the main event.
Joey with the numbers has an interesting point. He said, I thought it was a kidney shot, but even then it really didn't get hit at all. The guy barely hit him. Yeah, I thought maybe he hit him with the one and then the other one might have kind of hit the other guy's arm that might have connected with his nuts and maybe an accidental, but then they slowed it down. There was no foul. The guy goes down and he's down for like 3 minutes. Should have been a 10 count right there because it's a body blow. You're down for 10 seconds. That's it. You lose the fight by knockout. But then they went to the judges and I'm like, oh no. If he loses, if they have to go to the judges because of a foul and then the judges, whatever. But fortunately, the judges made the right call. They shouldn't have had to. They shouldn't have had to make a call. But fortunately, the right guy won despite this guy taking a fall.
A fall? The guy did a fucking stretcher job.
Yeah, he had a literal stretcher
job. He did a stretcher job. Dude, I thought I was watching WrestleMania there for a second. Yeah. Like the guy literally took a dive.
Yeah.
Like, I was waiting for Ric Flair to come out, figure four that motherfucker and start wooing. Like, and that's what I thought was going to happen.
That would be great.
Here's the problem. If I bet money on that fucking fight, or if I was one of the betting sites, Bet 365, my guys at Barstool Sports, all that stuff, if I'm one of those guys, I'm angry because I'm like, dude, I'm Logan Paul, Jake Paul, YouTube, whoever the fuck is sponsoring that fight. I'd be losing my mind. I'd be like, dude, you're going to make us you won't be able to bet on us.
Yeah.
Because they're going to think it's fake.
Yeah,
I bet you that guy ends up dead within a month.
You think he's going to be dead? I don't know about that.
I think they're going to, no, because, dude, he literally he's destroying boxing. One guy, some guy, I don't even know his fucking name. Took the fucking
I do have his name, actually. His name is Ivan Redkach.
You know
Regis
what?
Regis
Philbin, that's right. Regis Philbin out there.
Yeah.
That's what I was calling him last night. I couldn't think of his last name. But, dude, that demoralizes the sport you're trying, or the entertainment you're trying to push. You're watching a guy dive. Now, next time it's on, I'm going to be an asshole and not pay for it, because I won't pay for those. But like, I'm going to watch somebody. I want somebody to dive now. Every time someone's going to dive.
Let me ask you this. On commentary, they were calling one of these guys 7-Eleven. Why were they calling him that?
Why? Because his left hand was always open, baby, and he was always on the spot. 7-Eleven. That's what they said about it. Yeah.
How's that 7-Eleven? Oh, he's always open.
Yeah. Look at him. He's all 7-Eleven down there. He's always open. Bang, 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 bang. That's what it was.
All right. Well, you want to talk about the main event. Ben Askren versus Jake Paul.
Logan Paul, right?
Jake Paul.
Logan Paul.
Jake Paul versus Ben Askren. What do you think about the fight? So let's summarize for everybody that may not have watched it. Jake Paul won the fight in less than a minute, knocked Ben Askren out. Basically, there was a few exchanges. It actually looked like Ben Askren got a couple counter punches in. He was looking pretty good, but Jake Paul was doing pretty good. They were both, honestly, I thought they were both holding their own. I thought Ben Askren was putting the pressure on him, but Jake Paul maybe had the better combos.
How long did that fight last?
They're saying it was less than a minute. I've actually seen other sites that said less than 2 minutes.
But you talking about the fight, recapping, it was longer than the fucking fight.
Exactly. So I just want to let everybody know what happened. Jake Paul had an exchange. He hit him once and then hit him again with a cross. Ben Askren went down and got up almost immediately. The referee checked him to see if he was okay. I don't know exactly what it looked like. It looked like he might have been showing him some fingers, had to pull Jake Paul away, came back, talked to him, had him step forward and back. It looked like Ben Askren stumbled a little bit while he was talking to him, and the referee said he cannot continue. Less than a minute, the decision goes to Jake Paul.
Rigged.
What'd you think of the fight, John Mark?
Rigged.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I told you before the show I was going to tell everybody that I thought this fight was rigged. What do you think? Why do you think it was rigged?
Okay. I don't know, because here's the issue.
You don't know. Why do you think it's rigged?
Well, hang on. Because when you have the official himself did the first Thriller in Manila, like that seemed how old this fucking ref was. Like this ref served in World War I, not World War II, World War I. This guy was 105 years old.
Okay. Do you think he was easy to buy off?
Absolutely 110% correct.
Why is that?
I believe the ref was paid. If this guy goes down in any way, the UFC guy goes down in any way, you make sure he doesn't get back up. Because Paul now can say, well, I knocked out a UFC fighter, who's next?
Well, I think that was Jake Paul's entire angle when he accepted this fight, was that he would like to be able to say that he knocked out an Olympian, a former UFC competitor, a guy who I believe he was a champion in somewhere else before UFC. Great wrestler, went to the Olympics for wrestling. That makes Jake Paul legitimate. So I think that's why Jake Paul accepted the fight. I think that Ben Askren thought that this guy's more of an amateur. He kind of underestimated Ben Askren going into the fight. I don't know if I think it was rigged. I'll be honest. A lot of people are speculating that. I'm hesitant to say that. I'm not sure that I believe that fully, to be honest.
I don't know, man, because to me it's like we watched this guy in the UFC. Mm-hmm. Now the guy in the UFC, we're going to assume they're wearing very light gloves.
Yeah,
we know that guy could take a punch. There's no fucking way Jake Paul's punching power was enough to knock him out. And then what pissed me off the most was after the fight. That really pissed me off. And I was like, it was fucking rigged right there.
Why? What's that?
When Eskers or Foreskin or what the fuck his name was walking in the back, and they put the camera on him, and it was the live shot went to him, and he was smiling.
Yeah.
And like gave his wife a kiss. And somebody's like, well, he just made $500,000. Like, yeah, I'd be smiling too. Like,
I'll say this. That's the most happy I've ever seen anybody lose a fight in my life. Now, I'm going to point something out here. I think that Jake Paul legitimately hit him. I think there's no question about that. Like Jake Paul legitimately hit him.
No, it was a good right. I'm not even gonna say it wasn't. Like what I'm saying is rigged is I think the ref stopped the fight because the ref stopped the fight. He didn't want to.
Well, what I will tell you is I know a little bit about how to rig a boxing match. I know how it works.
Have you done this before?
No, I've never done it before, but I know I've read a little bit about it. What I know about how to rig a boxing match is you don't tell the guy that's going to win that it's rigged. You tell the guy that's going to lose to take a dive. That way, the punches still look real. If you tell the other guy that the other guy's going to take a dive in the second, then he pulls his punches. He doesn't hit him as hard. It doesn't look legitimate. Everybody can smell it a mile away. That's not what happened. What you do is you pay the guy to take a dive and you don't tell the other guy. Ben Askren knows he's taking a dive. He shows up out of shape, not taking it seriously, gets in there. They throw a couple punches back and forth. Ben Askren gets hit with a fucking really good one. the referee might be in on it. Maybe the referee's not in it. Kind of seems like the referee was in on it. And all of a sudden, after he gets knocked down, when he feels a good fucking, that one had a little bit extra pressure. I take a dive. I get back up. I stumble a little bit. Referee calls the fight. I go home with a bunch of money. I've done my job. I made this guy look legitimate. He doesn't know, but I'm going to say, the moment that fight was over, Jake Paul, I'm sure, went over to his manager and said, "You paid that guy off, didn't you?"
Yeah, probably when they were back in the locker room, no TV cameras and like that. Let's talk about the illegal activity that happened during that fight.
What was the illegal activity?
Snoop Dogg and Dana White made a $1 million side bet.
Really? What do you mean?
So on the air, Snoop Dogg said, "I had $2 million on the Paul brother."
On Jake Paul.
Jake
Really?
Paul.
Yeah, I heard him shouting something about $2 million. I just made $2
I
million.
want my $2 million, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Now what's going to happen is now the government should be involved. Okay.
Why?
So why? Because it's an illegal bet.
How's it an illegal bet?
Because the government's not going to get their 50%.
Oh.
So no matter in the States, if you win the lottery, like you win Powerball and you take that buyout, like a 500 million, by the time you get it, you're only about $1.25 because you cut it in half, the government takes their half, and then you get the rest. Okay. Now you're yelling on television
about a $2 million bet.
Where's my money, Dana White? I want my $2 million back.
Did he say? I heard him shouting something about $2 million. I didn't know it was Dana White. Is that what he said?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So now I look at it and I go, okay, Ring 8 might be fixed with the UFC guy. I then go after the UFC and say, maybe your shit's rigged. You guys are yelling on the air that you're doing illegal gambling, and now maybe the UFC is rigged. People don't understand. You shut your mouth.
I don't know.
Don't scream on the air you're doing lines of cocaine off hookers' asses. You just don't do it. I mean, if you're doing it, do it. But if you're not, you don't tell everybody you're doing it.
They might have actually said that on this show. It was so terrible before.
No, it's true. Like, I mean, to me, it was ridiculous. You mean to tell me you're going to get away with an illegal gambling ring? $2 million being changed hands, and the government ain't going to get a penny of that? Have fun with that now. They're going to go after everybody now. You might as well open it up, man. Let's have a look at the books, because Snoop Dogg got fucked up and yelled, $2 million, Dana White, $2 million. I want my money, Dana White. And then somebody else was like, oh, Dana White, like if he makes a bet with you, like he'll Learjet to your area and give you that money. He's a really good guy. I'm like, guys, shut the fuck up. Like the government's going to go after Dana White.
All right. So Jake Paul, next fight he wants is with, guess who? Conor McGregor.
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
And guess what? Conor McGregor's got an opening.
Oh, you think he's going to do it like 2 months from now?
Well, I don't know about that, but Conor McGregor has called off his fight with Dustin Poirier. They were scheduled to fight at UFC 264 on July 10th.
Fuck you, Conor McGregor, you bitch.
Conor McGregor has pulled out of that fight because Dustin Poirier has asked him to pay off his donation that he promised to the Good Fight Foundation. Basically, Conor McGregor agreed that if he lost the fight, he would pay $500,000 to Dustin Poirier's Good Fight Foundation. Dustin Poirier did knock him out, did win that fight, and Conor McGregor has not paid. Dustin Poirier called him out on Twitter.
Conor McGregor's broke.
What's that?
He's broke.
He's broke.
You can't take a $500,000 tax deduction. That's a no-brainer to me.
Yeah.
That's a tax write-off, baby. Here you go. You know what? Because you knocked me out, here's $1 million. Swing is why? Because I'm gonna get it back from the government.
Well, I believe it works that you only get about half of that back.
Doesn't even matter. That's half back. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
but that's half back. You can't give it tax. He's such a cunt. I fucking hate Conor McGregor.
Well, I think not only I don't know if he's broke. I don't know. Whatever. He doesn't want to
Broke.
spend the money. His response is, I have it here. It's a donation, not a debt. We've been awaiting plans for the money that never came. I do all my donations. I know where it's going dot for dot. Otherwise, it goes walking, as in the case with a lot of those foundations. Basically, he's saying that I wanted to pay my donation, but it is a donation, not a debt. And, the dots weren't dotted and the T's weren't crossed. So I didn't feel so great about it.
So McGregor's saying, because if I give you this $500,000 and with charities, only I think it's 10% of it has to go to the actual, the charity, what you're saying, like Build Schools for Africa. 10% of that money has to go to Build Schools for Africa and you can make money. So if McGregor's telling me, or he's saying no, you're going to give $5,000 of this to your fight the cause. The other two, whatever's left.
I don't think McGregor's saying that. McGregor's just saying that when he tried to make the donation, that he couldn't things weren't lining up for him to be able to give the donation. Whereas Dustin Poirier is saying, we tried to contact you several times. You haven't, your guys stopped responding. We stopped harassing you for the money. It was clear that you weren't going to make the donation. So we let sleeping dogs lie and waited for you to get a hold of us to do it.
Perfect. Then I guess Conor McGregor's a bitch.
Yeah, well, and the other thing is he's used this as an excuse to cancel his fight with Dustin Poirier, which a lot of people are saying he's not going to be able to win.
Well, yeah, because why would he continue to get knocked out? When was the last time the guy won a decent fight? What, Cowboy Cerrone?
Yeah.
And I even called it Cowboy's a fight night guy. He's not a main event guy.
Beat that guy in 10 seconds or 45 seconds or something. Hasn't even been through a single round before he fought this guy. Dustin Poirier, he has beat in the past. This is a trilogy. They were going to settle. This was going to be the rubber maker. Looks like Conor McGregor is looking at it saying, I'm not quite ready. I need a little bit more prep. I got to figure this guy out a little bit more. July is not going to work for me. Let's push it back a little further. I'll go on Twitter and cancel the fight. And then maybe my guys can figure out whatever combination I need to figure out. So are you saying
he goes Jake Paul before he fights?
What do you mean?
Do you think he's going to box before he UFC fights?
Do I think he's going to box Jake Paul?
Before his UFC fight. Before his next UFC fight, is Conor McGregor going to fight the fight or is he going to box first?
My answer is I think he's going to go wherever the money is.
All right. Well, I guess so.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to stay true to his word and cancel the fight for July 10th. Possibly. He may still end up going into that fight. Is it officially canceled? Conor McGregor is known to fly off the handle. We may see it go through July 10th. We may not. But one thing's for sure, if you ask me, Conor McGregor's scared. He's trying to make excuses.
And he's broke. Conor McGregor's a broke, scared little bitch. There you go. You heard it here first, folks.
Conor McGregor's a scared little bitch.
That's it. And he's broke.
That's right. All right. So we've got Jake Paul again. Speaking of Jake Paul is in the news for sexual assault. Have you heard much about this?
A little bit here and there, but you tell me what's going on, my friend.
Well, essentially, about a week ago, a TikToker by the name of Justine Paradise made a 20-minute video basically explaining, it's pretty hard to watch, but it was a 20-minute video saying that Jake Paul took her, they were at a party at Jake Paul's house, took her into his bedroom. She didn't think much of it. She goes to people's bedrooms all the time. And
explain more.
Well, he started kissing her and she just wanted to leave it at that. She kept saying no. And what she alleges is that Jake Paul basically forced himself on her and forced her to perform oral sex on him. This happened in 2019 in his house in his bedroom.
Why is she coming out now? You know what? Okay.
Well, and that's actually what Jake Paul's attorney is saying. Well, others have already begun to debunk the claim alleged against him. Our client categorically denies the allegation and has every intention of aggressively disproving it and pursuing legal action against those responsible for the defamation of his character. That was Jake Paul's lawyer. Jake Paul has actually released a statement just before his last fight that not only have I never had any sexual relationship with this individual, but this claim is solely manufactured and a blatant attempt for attention during a highly visible fight week. Make no mistake, I plan on pursuing this defamation of character case to the fullest extent of the law. There is irreparable damages for these types of accusations, and more importantly, false allegations of this diminish those who have truly been victims of misconduct. Jake Paul claims that she's doing this to get attention during the fight week and to make money on her OnlyFans account and to get things off of her Amazon wish list. She says she didn't even know she had an Amazon wish list, and there's maybe like 5 or 6 things on it. And she says, I don't want any money. I don't want any.
Then go to the cops. Go to the cops.
Well, I believe this is going to the cops, either one way or the other. One way or the other, this is going to the cops. So we're going to find out an answer in court. Now, unfortunately, with sexual assault, there's not a lot of evidence. We know, like I said, it's 2019, so there's not a lot of evidence that we can bring forward now.
We gotta let this play out, man. That's the only thing I can see. Like, okay, you know what? Do it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Like, because if it comes out that you're false and lying, somebody will sell. This is the thing with the celebrity world, and I'll air quote that. You're in it for money. We know you're in it for money. You buy views, you buy fans. You're on OnlyFans. You're trying to make money off of your body.
Okay.
You're trying to be your own separate entity. I'm going to be careful how I say this. Your own separate entity with the TikToks, and I don't know who this woman is. I don't even know. You said OnlyFans?
Sure. Well, she's a TikToker. She's a famous TikToker. She also has an OnlyFans account, which is probably, I don't believe you can monetize TikTok, so OnlyFans is probably how she's making money off of her fame that she's acquired through TikTok.
Exactly. So my point becomes is that if there's an issue, go to the police, have a trial. But what I don't like is I don't like the suing aspect. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just going to sue you right off the hop. Like, go to court. If this guy's such an asshole, what's going to happen is either A, she's going to be the only one, or there's going to be a slew of them.
Well, and that's the other thing is as soon as this came out, she claims now, of course, you can't really keep her claims because she's already claiming things, but she claims she knows a minor that was also assaulted by Jake Paul, and another person on Twitter whose name I didn't write down, who is a personal trainer, put on Instagram that she knows of other people who were sexually assaulted by Jake Paul. So there are more stories coming out.
One minor, you're done. You're done.
Yeah. If you could prove one minor.
If you were 18 and that girl's 17 and she's saying you did this, you're so fucked. You're done.
Yeah.
Walk away, go hide in. I don't even know where you're gonna live. I honestly don't even know.
Yeah. So that's the minor. The story of the minor is coming from Justine Paradise. So we're not sure. She doesn't name who the minor is. Of course, you're not going to do that.
No, do it. No, but support. Now, that's what I'm saying. Like, maybe 10 of these girls come out, right?
Yeah.
And then you know what? If that's the case, Mr. Paul better hold on to his money and make sure that he's got a good investor.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think we've all seen over the last few years that when these stories break, nobody's really sure what to believe. But once more and more people come out, there's sort of an algorithm of at what point do you say, okay, that's the breaking point. It's absolutely got to be true. We seem to be seeing that with Jake Paul, where one story, people are not sure. 2 stories, okay. Now a 3rd story is coming out. How many more are we going to see?
Deshaun Watson, quarterback of the Texans, is going through the same thing. He started off, one girl sued him. Now he's up to 21. One got kicked out.
21, I would say that's got to be true.
No. Here's the thing, man. Nobody went to the police. They didn't go to the police.
But that's
because they're afraid of getting holes poked into their stories, right?
And that's the unfortunate thing about this is you go to the police, you risk people not believing your story, you risk reprisal, you risk repercussions that you shouldn't have to have, that a woman shouldn't have to be worried that
if a woman, we're in 2021.
Yes.
If a woman is feeling that because she came up and said she was a victim, if we're found any company is pushing her away or saying you're reprimanded because you were a victim, then we have to, that's a different fight. But that's out that corporation.
Okay, so I'm glad that you said that because that's exactly what's happening with this story, because this woman claims she was sexually assaulted. Justine Paradise is claiming she was sexually assaulted by Jake Paul. Jake Paul is now saying he is going to sue her for damages for making those accusations. Now, if Justine Paradise, if she's being 100% truthful but cannot prove it, she'll be liable. Jake Paul will be able to press charges against her.
If she has other victims,
but that's a different case. She doesn't have other cases are not the same, John Mark.
I know, but
you cannot admit another case into your court case. That is not how the law works.
He better have security cameras in his fucking house for every time he has a party that people can go, no, I was there, because he's a YouTuber. He was a YouTuber, right? He was defunct, but like, look, he's here. Literally, he's with me at this time.
Sure.
That'll fuck her.
But that's not what's happening here. Right now at this point, it's his word against hers.
And that's the way the world goes. That's the way the world works. You know, you wake up with a black guy, you say, JM punched me. I wasn't even in town. You know what I mean? Like, you got to prove that point.
So what we're saying now is the reason that a lot of women don't come forward is because they're afraid of what's happening to this Justine Paradise person.
Nothing's happened yet. We'll see what happens.
Well,
I don't think
she's being threatened with legal action. That has
happened. Jake Paul's a douchebag.
I agree.
He's a fucking douchebag.
She's still feeling pressure to not go forward with this lawsuit.
Go forward with it. If you believe in it, go forward with it.
I agree 100%. What I'm trying to explain, though, is that unfortunately, even in 2021, women have a lot of fear of pressing charges, even though they have 100% right to. You can't say, well, they didn't press charges at the time. Why didn't they press charges at the time? There's a lot of legitimate reasons why they can't press charges at the time, because they're afraid.
Yeah, and you know what? If Jake Paul sues this woman, we'll start a fucking GoFundMe for this woman to pay whatever litigation is needed to be paid. It's absolute horseshit.
That's a nice thing to say, but that's not going to happen that's not going to happen for every woman.
No, but you can use that as a stepping stone. Like, don't be afraid of victimization happens all the time, right? Like, it sucks. It's a society we're unfortunately in and we've bred. We're trying to get out of it, which I think we're doing good things. But like, just call this guy Harvey fucking Weinstein.
And Harvey Weinstein is another example of, at first, a lot of people didn't believe it, but once it became more and more true, it became more and more true. You know, undeniable is what it became.
And if more women come out and say, Jake Paul did this to me, that little lawsuit will go away.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
That's it.
I don't know. The thing that's difficult about the show that we're doing, these kinds of shows, is I don't know who's right. I don't really know which side to follow on all this.
Let the courts decide.
The courts, you know, sometimes people say the court of public opinion, you're not guilty in the court of public opinion. It's the court of public opinion. It doesn't hold any bearing. Well, sometimes the court of public opinion can exact justice a little bit better than the actual courts, because if you don't have the evidence, these other women aren't admissible as evidence in this court case. But if there's 40 incidents, the court of public opinion can sometimes judge this person more accurately than an actual courtroom.
Listen, man, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm tired of the court of public opinions.
Okay.
I want the court of law.
But the court, like I just said, the court of law cannot include these separate incidents.
I understand.
But you just said that we need to include these separate incidents, and the court of law is not equipped to do that.
If this little douchebag has, if 5 girls come out and he goes, I'm still going to get that one. He goes after that one. He's not going to win that. There's no fucking way. There's no way, dude. There's
You don't know that.
I'll put my beard up for it. There's no way.
You still don't know. Like, the court, you're not allowed to hold what happens in another case against the plaintiff in a courtroom. So that's not going to see how it plays out.
Jury tampering happens all the time, and I'm sure you will pay for it.
Okay.
He's not going to pay for it.
He's not going to pay for it? Sorry, you cut out there for a second. He's not going to pay for it?
Sorry, I just kind of lost you there.
Yeah. Sorry.
I do not think. Why is our mouse not matching? Are you dropping or am I dropping?
I'm not sure, my friend.
Oh no, I'm full. I'm ready to go. I don't know. It was just a little glitch.
I got a wired connection.
It was just a little glitch. Maybe it was just something wrong with the internet out there.
Okay.
Here's my point. Here's what I'm going to say. Is that this woman will not get. If Jake Paul sues this woman, his career is done.
Well, he is.
Well, no, you wait. Go to the police. If you get charged with the police, you can't. There's no way. He'll have to go after it and he'll have to have evidence.
This is his attorney's quote. I'll read it one more time for you. 1 second here. I'll get it right here so I'm looking at the camera. While others have already begun to debunk the claims alleged against him, our client categorically denies the allegations and has every intention of aggressively disproving it and pursuing legal action against those responsible for the defamation of character.
Perfect. So he's going to go after every woman.
He's going to go after this woman.
You just said it. He's going to go after all parties involved.
Sure.
So he's going after every woman that comes out with him. You better be careful.
Well, so far only one woman has come out. The other ones have been anonymous.
Anonymous comes out when he gets charged.
How so?
Like they will come out in the woodwork. Like this guy, you can't be that big of a douchebag and sue this girl. You'll be fucked. He will fuck himself.
Well, that's what he's planning on doing.
Well, I don't think he should because he's going to lose everything.
I mean, it doesn't matter what you think he should. He's going to do that.
He won't do it.
He is. He's just his lawyer just made a statement. I don't know what the fuck to say to you, Jean-Marc. You can't just say, "I wish he wouldn't." He's already fucking doing it. You can't say he probably shouldn't do that. He's already fucking doing it.
Okay. Well, we'll wait. We'll wait until the lawsuit is filed. Saying you're going to do something and doing it, two different things, douchebag. He's not going to do it. He doesn't
His fucking lawyer just said he's doing it.
His lawyer said he's going to do it. He wants to do it. Nothing's been filed yet. This guy's fucked. No, it's not going to happen.
Listen, your little pretend world where you say, "I wouldn't do that if I was him," that doesn't fucking have any bearing on reality. He's doing that.
No, okay, well then let's wait to see what the lawsuit says.
You're so fucking hard-headed. Just listen to me. His lawyer says they're pressing charges just because you say, "I wouldn't do that if I was him."
No, he didn't. Read that to me again.
Holy fuck. Okay. While others have already begun to debunk the claim alleged against him, our client categorically denies the allegation and has every intention of aggressively disproving it and pursuing legal action against those responsible for the defamation of his character.
Okay. So no legal. He's first he's got to disprove it. Okay. So you have fun going against a female. Go ahead. You have fun. You've already been proven to be, your family's a bag of fucking douchebags. Have fun disproving a female. Okay, good. Once you get that done, you better have good proof to fucking sue her. Okay. Then once you do, you get her charged for fault. But what is she going to get charged for? Defamation. That's it. If you sue her, you're just a piece of shit again. She has to go to the police.
And that's the problem. He is a piece of shit.
But he said we're aggressively debunking it. They're trying to debunk it. So because the guy's is his entourage, the guys on his payroll say he didn't do it. Of course he didn't do it. He's paying you to do it. You better have fucking proof from some little fucking $2 side piece of a whore that you were with instead of this woman to get it done. Now, if he doesn't have that, you can't do shit. The woman will always win. That's not
true. That's not true.
Dude, we're in a different situation.
In fact, there's like hundreds of years of court of the women always losing. That's why
correct. And now we're trying
to the courts.
But now with the Weinsteins and the fucking Epsteins and all these little cocksuckers.
And thank God that's happening, that things are starting to prove, but it takes dozens of other witnesses to come forward for it to even have a fucking chance in court.
I will stand behind this woman in front of this woman. I don't care. This guy's a douchebag. He's aggressive. We've seen the aggressive nature of him. We've seen his drug use. We've seen everything. This guy doesn't have a fucking leg to stand on. If that woman said it happened, I believe that woman. You want to know?
Great.
Because the other guy's a douchebag. He's been filmed being a douchebag. He's done douchey things to other people. And when she comes out and it's legalized, and then they go, has anybody else had an issue? And 10 of them go in at him. The conversation of you turning as red as your fucking shirt yelling at me, because what the lawyers said, and you've read it to me 3 times, but you're not listening to what you're reading. He's trying to debunk it, then he'll legal. He has to debunk it first. There's no fucking way he can.
So what I'm saying is neither one of them is likely to be able to prove anything in the court of law. However, the court of public opinion is a different thing.
Okay, then what are you going to do? You're going to sue? You're going to sue this woman?
He's already said that he's going to, yes.
No. He's got to debunk it first. Then you're going to see if they can actively go against it. They have to debunk it first. If he can't debunk it, he's fucked.
Well, he says he's looking at pursuing legal action against those responsible for the defamation of his character.
Correct, but they have to debunk it is the key. A lawyer can come out and say, you 2 idiots need to shut the fuck up, or else we're going to sue you. Okay. Or else. Okay.
So your point is that he has to debunk it. My point is that the courtroom is not going to protect this woman.
They will.
How? You can't just pretend that they will. You don't have any fucking tangible reason to say they will. They will. You can't just say they will and it magically fucking happens.
Yes, it will happen. Oh my God. Dude, the woman, if she has a claim and she goes to, here's the thing. I believe somebody, if they go to the police and they go, we have enough evidence, we'll go against him. And then that's what I believe in. That's the court I believe in. That's the court we've grown up with. It's been forever. That's the court I believe in. The court of he said, she said, I'm just going to sue, go right to sue. I don't like that one because that one to me is money. I want money. But it's not. What I'm saying is
sometimes the court of public opinion does more justice than the actual courtrooms because the evidence is there's not enough evidence in, how do I say it?
In court, no.
Courtroom.
No,
okay. What the legal courtroom considers admissible as evidence is far more stringent than what the public opinion will consider. So correct. I, as an individual, can say that guy's a piece of shit. I know he did something wrong. Whereas the court of law will say we can't prove it, so he's scot-free.
Correct. Okay, I'm getting you. I see what you're saying. Like O.J. Simpson.
Exactly. That's a fucking perfect example. The court of public opinion says O.J. Simpson absolutely murdered his wife because it's reasonable. There's a lot of evidence that was not brought into the courtroom. There were some things that made certain things inadmissible. Yeah. However, in the court of law, O.J. got off scot-free.
Well, yes.
Well, and then later on, he was sued for some money for being responsible, but not. Yeah.
Well, I mean, hey, let's wait and see what happens. Okay. Listen, I don't want you. You're fucking. Your face is red. My face is red. Like you need to fucking calm down a minute. Okay. We're good. I'm going to support the woman. All I'm doing, all I'm hoping for, and I hope we are beyond this. We're trying to take a woman at what she says is the truth. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say is that if a woman comes up, and it's hard, and you even said how hard it is for a woman to come forward with a sexual assault or whatever have you, because they always agree with males and all this shit. This guy's a douchebag. Yes. What I'm saying is that if she goes to the police will take it seriously. They will pursue everything because of like the Harvey Weinsteins and all this other bullshit. Like they have an eye now for this stuff where they go like, he wouldn't do that. He's a really nice guy. He gives everybody a chance. They go, no, now we see the predators that are in Hollywood, that are in the eyes. We believe you. Now, they may not have enough power for her, but if she comes out and 10 follow and the 10 behind her all have the right proof, this guy cannot sue will not sue the first one.
I don't know about all that. I just think our legal system is kind of flawed when it comes to this stuff, and it's
Our
greatly
legal
improving.
system, it is improving. Our legal system is a fucking joke.
Yeah.
It's behind 1,000 years.
Yeah.
Like they don't treat women, they don't treat women as equals. It always seems to me like the male gets a bit of the fucking, like, you know what I mean though? Like it always seems that the woman's right behind it. Like, I can't explain it. Like to me, it just seems women are not getting it. And now a thing that against Mr. Paul is he's a white male. He's fucked. He is absolutely fucked.
I don't know if that's true. I think in the court of public opinion, white males are not persecuted, but white males are a little bit easier to go after. But in a courtroom, they tend to be a little bit more biased towards the white males.
It probably doesn't even affect, and the sad part is it probably doesn't even affect Jake Paul.
Why is that?
Mike Tyson got out of prison for rape and still had a boxing career after that. Hollywood, if you're an athlete, forget a lot of shit.
Yeah.
They go, you know what? Yeah, you made a mistake. You made 10 mistakes. You made fucking 15 mistakes. All good. Just entertain me, make me some money. They don't give a fuck. That's the problem.
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting conversation that I've thought about getting into sometime on the show, but I don't know if I really want to, is sometimes people are able to separate a person's talent from a person's personal misbehaviors.
Yeah, exactly. You get into a bar fight a couple of times, you get a couple of assaults on you there. I can forgive that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, all right, you were fucking young, whatever have you. Mike Tyson literally beat women, raped women, did prison, pled guilty. He comes out, have a boxing career.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
I
want you to think about that for a second, though.
I heard a George Carlin joke that reminds me of. Muhammad Ali had a job. It was a job beating people up. That was his job. The government said he couldn't do his job for a little while because he wouldn't do a job that they wanted him to do, kill people. And he said, beating people up is where I draw the line. I will not kill people. They said, well, then you can't do your job of beating people up.
Wow. Fucking U.S. never makes sense to me, man. Never makes sense. U.S., I don't know. Whatever doesn't make sense makes sense, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, man.
Listen. I want to have the ability to go back on that last clip when we get more information. I would like to go back and retouch on that.
You'd like to revisit that conversation?
I'd like to revisit it.
Okay. Sure. Let's pay attention to the news, and I'm sure some of it will be in the news in the future. All right. Well, speaking of the news, have you heard of Dante Wright and Kim Potter?
Oh, fuck. Now I'm going to get fired. You know what?
So this is, for those, to fill in those watching at home, Kim Potter is a police officer.
Former police officer.
Former police officer. During the arrest of Dante Wright decided to flee police. Well, there was a skirmish. Police were trying to withhold Dante Wright. There's a body cam footage of Kim Potter going to use what she thought was her taser. She yells, "Taser, taser, taser," and uses what is clearly a gun. And the person drives off, and she's left there going, "Oh shit, I shot him." What do you think of that, John Mark?
Well, Adam, I think this is where I'm probably going to get my hate now.
Okay.
How old was this young man?
He appeared very young. I don't have the exact number. Do you know?
I can't remember. Now, if I'm not mistaken, and it's a fucked up situation.
Sure.
Did you hear how he's associated with George Floyd?
No.
George Floyd's wife or girlfriend is a teacher. Hang on. Is a teacher.
Okay.
And she was one of his students. Or he was one of her students.
Okay.
That's just a little bit. Adam, What the flying fuck are we paying? How do policing work? Do you just get off the street and become a cop? Is that what happens?
I think this is a testament to just how terrible the training is for police officers, how we need to have better training, better people, better screening. I don't know. This is clearly a case where this Kim Potter person is incompetent to a lethal level.
Holy fuck, man. She has a piss, only wipes her ass. Like, that's how dumb this woman is.
Yeah.
Like, are you fucking kidding me? Okay, now, the kid shouldn't have ran. Okay. I'm okay, hang on. Kid, you shouldn't have ran. You shouldn't have been shot either by a fucking cop.
Exactly. The punishment for resisting arrest is not getting shot.
Holy flying fuck, I hope not, man, because then in Canada, we have people shot all the time. What I'm trying to figure out, what in the flying fuck was she thinking?
She was thinking she was tasing this guy, and she's incompetent.
Now, did he have a weapon? I'm hearing these conflicting stories where he had a weapon. ABC dusted it out.
Haven't heard anything about a weapon.
Listen, this poor kid. I'm going to call him a kid. He didn't look. He's younger than us, so I'm calling him a kid.
Sure.
Young man, I'm sorry that you are a black man in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you were our color, you'd be alive.
I'm not even sure that's true. Because
I'm going to tell you right now.
Normally I would jump at the opportunity to agree with you with that. But this is just a case of the woman is so incompetent that she thought that she was tasing this guy and she fucking shot him. And I don't even know the weight of the gun versus the taser. What I've read, I've done a little bit of research on this, is your taser is on your less dominant hand, your gun is on your dominant hand. She knew she was shooting with her fucking right hand. You see the body cam, you can see it's a gun in the body cam. I don't see how she doesn't see it's a gun in her hand. Apparently there's bright colors on your taser. The gun is clearly black. The gun is heavy. The taser is light.
So the taser, from what I'm understanding, is bigger and lighter. The gun is like, it's a snug gun in your hand.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like, I don't even know. It'd be like Xbox controller, taser, remote control, gun. Yeah. You can feel the difference. Here's my problem, Adam. This poor kid.
Yeah.
Black man. I'm going to call it a black man. Unfortunately, I got to use color to describe this situation.
Sure.
Was pulled over. He shouldn't have ran, but he ran. Now, my thing is I'm not going to get into a debate with you on if he should have ran, if he was a criminal or not. I'm not a black man in Minnesota. Sure. If I know that one guy has been killed, a black guy has been killed, I'm going to run. I'm like, fuck you. Like, literally get me out of here. Because I know I'm not about to have a good day.
Sure.
Like, because the cop, for whatever fucking reason, is pulling me over.
Okay.
The female cop is a fucking moron. I can't find this sets back women in law enforcement 50 years.
You're blaming the fact that she's a woman for this incompetence.
Absolutely.
Oh, geez. How do you find an inappropriate angle for every story we do?
Fuck you. No. Take them all off the force. Get them all retrained.
I believe that
Listen, not only is it Minnesota, she's also a white female. You're fucked. You just literally screwed every woman in law enforcement. Because now every woman who's probably a legit great cop, a great investigator, a great chief, a great whatever fucking have you, they're all going to be questioned now because one racist white cop in Minnesota shot an unarmed black man.
So you keep saying race. Do you believe that it was racially motivated? Do you think that maybe But do you think she maybe purposely grabbed her gun and pretended she was tasing him, or you think so? You think that?
Absolutely. Would that now if that was like LA or somewhere in Florida or somewhere, I'd probably be like, yeah, you know what? I might give you that one. The fucking cops already killed an unarmed black man. The same fucking police force. I'm just going to assume they're all racist. As an outside party, I just go, okay, great. Like, so either we remove every police officer and switch them all out in Minnesota, in that area where it happened, or we just remove all the black people from there because they're obviously being targeted.
So here's the distinction, the hair splitting that I'd like to make. The distinction is, I honestly don't think she accidentally. I honestly do believe she accidentally shot this person. So I don't believe it was a racially motivated shooting. But the consequences afterwards, how the law has played out afterwards, could be racially motivated. If it was a white kid, they might say, fucking first degree murder right away. Of course, she shot that guy by accident. We gotta fucking throw the book at her. Now that it's a black person, the law has eventually begrudgingly decided to eventually charge her with second degree manslaughter.
How many bullets did you put into him?
Just one that I'm aware of.
Just one?
I believe it was just one.
All right, that might be the reason.
Okay.
She pulls the trigger twice, she's fucked.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? You pull it once, boom. Ah, fuck, not my gun. I understand heat of the moment, but if you cannot handle yourself in a stressful situation, why the fuck are you a cop?
Exactly.
Listen. Police officers, and I know a lot of cops, and I'm always pro cop. I'm always a pro cop. You do not deal with people on a good day. You're not seeing them at their best. Hey, I win the lottery, I'm not calling 911 and send me a cop to sell it.
Sure.
You know what? Cracker's breaking into my car, I'm going to kill him. Get here quick. You know what I mean? Like, they only deal with stress. They don't deal with any positivity.
Exactly.
Like, you cannot handle that. And you can't differentiate, but you're fucking gun in between a taser and a gun?
Mm-hmm.
But that's why I'm asking you, how the fuck? Maybe they got to their hiring process. They got to do better. They
do. Absolutely. They have to do a better screening process to make sure they have the right people.
Our screening process in Canada, it seems a lot different than America.
Sure. So, but we agree. They have to have a better screening process and better training. They absolutely have to have a better training. If you don't know your fucking left from your right, you can't be a cop. That's the bottom line. If you don't know taser left, gun right, if you can't figure that out, you can't be a fucking cop. And if you got to be put in a fucking high stress situation where you got to know the difference and you got to succeed 100% of the time. I think we got to throw the book at this woman. Am I alone on this? Do you agree with me?
The book? Not even, I want the first book, second book, third book, transports. I want everything thrown at this woman.
I think that this woman, go ahead.
Death penalty.
I don't know about death penalty.
No. I'm fucking done. No. Once you realize you want to put regular citizens on a fucking level, and then you put a cop above them, you fuck up, you're dead. We're done. No. I want death penalty to cops that shoot unarmed kids. I'm done. Because if it was my kid or your fucking kid, your whole fucking attitude would be different. I'm not putting up with this shit anymore. A cop shoots my kid, I'm shooting that fucking cop. I'm done. No. When are we going to stop? And Como, and I never believe in what that CNN fuckface says. If these were white kids, the laws are completely fucking different. But now, because it is a child of color, now we shouldn't have to worry about that. I don't care what his criminal past was. He was an unarmed man that was shot. She should be shot as well. I'm done. Manslaughter, that's a joke. I want that woman taken out back and shot 1,000 times.
Well, listen, you're fired up. We're on the same page, although maybe different degrees of the same page.
No, same page to me is death penalty for any cop that shoots somebody unarmed. We're done.
Let me say my piece here. I think we're on the same page. You're a little bit further up than I am. What I do agree, though, is that we need to throw the book at this person. I think that we need to make sure that this doesn't happen ever again. And the only way to make sure it never happens again is to punish this person for their mistake to the fullest extent. 100% agree with you, Jean-Marc.
And my issue is not all cops are bad. Like, I need to iterate that. Like, there's a lot of good cops out there. There's a ton. But it's the bad ones that we hear about. We don't hear about the good ones.
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
You don't hear about the one jumping into the river in the wintertime to save a child or a mother or, whatever have you. We don't hear about those ones.
I have police officers in my family. Like I was actually considering being a cop at one point in my life. There are good cops. There are absolutely
millions of good cops. The bad ones were.
I don't know about millions, but there are good cops.
Thousands and thousands. No, but listen, man. Listen, All I'm saying is that police hold us to a standard where we're supposed to be able to live our lives in safety.
Mm-hmm.
When you become the person who took away a child's safety, and I'm saying as a child, he could have been 21, he could have been 22. He's a kid to me.
Sure.
That's the issue. That's the issue. It becomes is that you took away the innocence of a man. You know your life is no longer valid. You are put in a position where you carry a weapon. You carry a weapon. You're paid to carry a weapon. You have the training to carry a weapon. You fuck up with your weapon. Like if you shoot an unarmed man, you're done. That's it.
Yeah.
Like absolutely. That to me, you're done. And you know what? Death penalty, you may not be a fan of. I'm a fan of it in this situation.
Well, I'm not a fan of it, but I agree. If police are going to be given the right to police us, they're held at a higher standard than us, then yeah, they should be held at a higher standard than us.
Absolutely.
You fuck up, you need to be held accountable. I agree, though, 100%. There are good cops. There are bad cops. The bad cops are the ones you hear about, which means we need to hold those bad cops accountable for the good of the good cops as well.
So, Adam, if I go and I grab a gun,
yeah,
and I shoot you, I walk up and go, boom. I go, oops, didn't know it was loaded. Manslaughter.
I mean, that's a different situation.
Okay, so I thought it was a toy gun.
Well, then maybe you might get manslaughter for something like that. I don't know, man. I'm not a lawyer.
Apparently you are from the last segment.
What do you mean?
Well, you were reading some, you know what? I don't want to get back into the last segment. We'll revisit that. Man, is there, we're on the same page. This cop, manslaughter is a joke. We need to make sure that she is held highly more accountable. I want death penalty on this one, but I'm not, I guess I'm alone on this one.
I don't know about death penalty. She should be probably in jail for the rest of her life, not allowed to be a cop. I think that she also needs to be made an example of. I think that a police officer that hears about this story needs to know that they cannot make this mistake ever again. And this person needs to be in jail for the rest of their life in order to remind them that they cannot make that mistake ever again.
We are on the same page. I honestly think if you're a cop and you break the law, you should have more years tacked on because you should know the law inside out.
Well, I'll tell you this much. If you're a cop and you're in jail, you're not having a good time.
Unless you're kind of into that thing. But then, I mean, if you're into that thing, I mean, not there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying that, hey, you're having a good time.
Yeah, well, I've heard stories of like cops get sent to jail for stuff, and it's like you're not going to have a good time in jail because you're a former cop now.
That's it, man. Hey, it happens. It is what it is, man. Don't fuck up. Maybe you should be nicer to the criminals when you're arresting them. All right, man. What else do you have for me? You were looking at your monitors, so I don't know if you got something else.
Well, I was actually thinking that would be an interesting way to segue into the police officers in Ontario, but I think we already kind of touched on it. I don't know if
we kind of touched on it. No, I'm good because honestly, like if a cop pulls me over, then you and I will have a conversation.
Well, one thing I did forget to mention that I have in my notes is that there are police officers. There are police, not officers, but police
forces.
Police forces, exactly, across Ontario who are letting people know, tweeting out or whatever. I know North Bay, they tweeted out that they will not be randomly stopping people despite the fact that Doug Ford has given them the power to. I think that's great.
I don't know about that.
You don't know about that. We're going to disagree on legal things once again here.
We sure are, bud. Get ready, and here we go. And let me just explain to you what I thought of when they said that we were going to randomly stop people. Yeah. I follow news in Belleville, Toronto, North Bay, Kingston. Like I follow a bunch of news because sometimes you hear a story like that can't happen. Like that just, and most of the time it's in Northern Ontario. Okay. You know, because that's where I'm born and raised, so I know the area. Mm-hmm. You have a massive drug problem and theft problem in North Bay right now. Sure. It seems anyways, like a lot more than what I'm hearing down here. The cops were given the okay to literally clean up the streets, and they said no. Like if it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and you get a call, somebody might have broken into my car. Or what are you doing out here? You know, because the police don't tend to deal with first-time offenders. Do you know what I mean? Like that, like they know these people. Like the cops go, it's John Smith. There he is again. You know, I wonder what he's doing at 3:00 in the morning, because last 4 times I got him were for breaking into cars.
Okay.
You have an opportunity to somewhat clean up the streets and have more guys out there talking to people. Now, I personally would be okay with that. I'd go, okay.
Well, what I'd like to point out is that maybe you're putting a little bit too much trust into the police.
As I said before in our last statement, I do love police. I am pro-police. I really am. But my thing, Adam, is they say they're not going to do it. We're not going to do it until they do a drug bust and fuck something up, and they go, well, we had the permission anyways.
Well, let me ask you this. What if you were someone that the police didn't like?
I agree 100%. You know what? But at that point, even if you don't like them, you gotta...
Never mind, you don't like them. They don't like you. Police don't like you. You haven't necessarily done anything wrong, but they don't like you.
Well, there are a few police officers in North Bay that do not like JM. I think they're now former police officers, but that's I understand. You know what? Maybe, yeah, I'll give them that. I guess. Like, you're making a valid point for me to go, like, I'm kind of with you on this, but the way I see it is that if they do a pullover and they find a fuckload of drugs, like, let's just say they're going to say
that's a best case scenario. I'm saying a worst case scenario is what we need to be protected against.
Absolutely, and I agree with you 100%. But because they're saying they're not going to use it, they're not going to pull random people over. They're still going to pull random people over.
Well, the fact that they're saying they're not going to use their power to pull a person over for no reason whatsoever.
So they have to use it.
I give them a lot of respect for saying that. I don't think that the police should be able to treat everyone like a criminal when they haven't done anything wrong.
We ain't done shit wrong, man. We have not done anything wrong. We're both taxpayers. We both own houses. We both own homes.
Sure.
Listen, my job shut down. You're still working. You imagine every time you left your yard, it was like, whoop, 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 whoop. You're like, exactly. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. What's up? Because then here's what happens. You're late I'm your boss. You're late for work. Adam, why are you late? Cops pulled me over. Okay, we'll give it to you. No problem. Next day.
Whoop. Cops pulled me over every day. Eventually, it's going to be a problem.
Eventually, you'll be like, okay, well, then here's what the problem is. What's that? You're fired.
Yeah.
You can't show up to work on time.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Fuck.
The police you think the police should have the right to do that to someone that they maybe don't like? Maybe they don't like them because of the color of their skin. Maybe they just decide they don't like them.
All right. So you know what we're going to do?
What?
I'm going to allow you to win this one. Okay. I am going to allow you, and I'm going to say, I'm happy for the cops, but here's what's going to happen, and you're not going to believe it until it happens. I'm going to use I'm going to foreshadow again. They're going to pull somebody over for a drug bust. They're going to see a drug bust. Get out of the car. What were you doing here? What were you doing there? Oh, then I noticed this. And I opened his trunk and I realized that he had all these drugs on him. Well, he didn't have a search warrant. I don't need one. He was a suspicious person. I wanted to make sure. Why was he out? Well, your police force said, no. My police force says we weren't going to use it, but the Ontario government allows us to use it. So under our best judgment, I decided to use it to see what the fuck was going on.
Well, that'd be a best case scenario, and that would be wonderful in a best case scenario.
Worst case scenario, here's the worst case scenario. Wife's taking the baby out to kind of get him a little motion because it's raining out. We can't go for a walk. All of a sudden, the cop pulls over. What are you doing? Well, literally trying to let the kids sleep, or maybe I'm taking the drive, let the kids sleep. All of a sudden now, I get a $750 fine because they don't like my answer.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the bullshit. That's bullshit right there.
That is bullshit.
That's bullshit. They taped up my park behind my house. Kids are devastated. We've already made kids cry. I mean, government's doing a great job.
All right, so let's go on to our next story. We've got 2 more here. Alma Wahlberg has passed away. I'm not really that familiar with Alma Wahlberg.
Alma.
Am I saying it wrong? Alma,
yeah, like Al and Ma, Alma. Dude, you've never watched Wahlburgers? Because when we're talking pre-show.
Didn't even know it was a show.
Didn't even know it was a show. As a fan of Wahlburgers, I've been to a Wahlburgers in Toronto. I enjoy the thing. She was a saint. She had to be. I think there's like 13 of them, the Wahlburgers. They were dirt poor, lived in Boston. You know, the kids like Mark and his brothers, like before they were new kids, were little terrors, I guess, on the block. She
I guess there
raised
was
these kids.
Mark and Donnie. Donnie was a new kid on the block, went on to be a music producer. Mark
Yep.
was I don't know if he was like a rapper or
No,
something.
he was.
He did.
So he was.
Did
He was
his
a
little
Calvin
feel
Klein.
it, feel it, whatever.
That's a great song. He doesn't like that song, but he's done. The Wahlbergs have done a lot of things, and as you watch the show, you realize on how the kids loved her. Okay. Like she was an amazing human being. Now I met people that have met her because she was, they got Wahlburgers and they took photos. They're saying like she was so nice and she enjoyed the spotlight and wanted to take time out and talk to anybody and everybody and always wanted everybody to be in the good spot. So like we really honestly lost. We kind of lost a good person on the earth.
That's terrible. You know? I'm not familiar with her. I know she was 78 years old. Mark Wahlberg tweeted out, "My angel, rest in peace."
That whole family will be devastated. I'm sure the Wahlburger, the chain of restaurants will stay open, but I'm pretty sure the show will be done.
Yeah. Well, from what I don't know this person, but from what I understand, for the last few months, maybe even year or so, Mark Wahlberg's been tweeting updates to his fans about how she's doing. Apparently, her memory was starting to go. She was very confused, but they said she was still Alma. But behind all that, even though she didn't always understand where she was, what was going on, or remember things, she was confused, but still she was the same person that everyone knew and loved.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. Like, it even shows you on certain things, like on the Wahlburgers, like she has all kinds of money. The kids have made sure she's taken care of, and like the ones like the sisters and brothers who are firefighters or cops or whatever, but the brothers who are making the extra money have made sure she doesn't have to work.
Okay.
So she has their credit cards or whatever, has her own money, but she has a bunch of stuff. She was still going to thrift stores. Like she was still like, oh, I want to go get this bargain, because that's how it is. Like she was just a down to earth human being. And you're like, dude, you have so much fame. And they're like, people are trying to take photos with her in the first second season. She's like, what is this? Like, I'm not used to this. And she's like, I watched the kids grow up and do it, but I'm not used to this. And, it's unfortunate that it seems to me like, as we talked about some douchey celebrities today. It seems that she was one of the ones that was barred out, was one of the best. So I think that's kind of where you want to shoot. It's like everybody's mother. You know what I mean? Like everybody's favorite mom, like just so nice, super nice human being. Unfortunately, we lost her, but I mean, hey, I think we're all better to be able to see her as a great human being and to raise those kids. I mean, like 13 brothers or sisters or something, like she's automatically already got to be a saint.
Yeah. Well, rest in peace. It's too bad to hear about it, and our thoughts are with the Wahlbergs.
Absolutely.
All right, so the last one on a brighter note is everybody's the child we all saw grow up. Macaulay Culkin is a father. Macaulay Culkin is having a child with Brenda Song. It is Dakota Song Culkin.
Oh, she hyphenated her name.
Yeah.
Good job. Okay, so are we looking at what's it, 2021?
Yeah.
2026 winter Home Alone remix. Macaulay leaves the kid at home at the age of like 4 or 5, and then what happens is Pesci comes back and the kid actually kills Pesci. I think that'd be amazing.
Could you imagine if this kid is in a remake of Home Alone? It would be great. That movie's just paying off for that family. So the name Dakota is actually named after Macaulay Culkin's sister that passed away in 2008. They passed away in a tragic car accident at 29 years old in LA. Named after his sister. That's incredibly sweet. He was born April 5th at 1:30 p.m., 6 pounds, 14 ounces.
That's a smallish baby.
Yeah, pretty small baby, yeah.
In the 6s. I mean, hey, that's great. I mean, maybe we get another generation of actor.
That would be great, yeah. This would be a second generation actor.
Yeah, because you know what? Macaulay Culkin, he's never done anything bad in his career, did he?
Anything bad? What do you mean?
Like he wasn't like a criminal or anything. He just kind of was like, yeah, I'm done.
He's still acting. Actually, these two, both Macaulay Culkin and Brenda Song met in 2017 at a movie they were filming in Thailand called Changeland. So he's still acting. He's done a lot of Broadway, from what I understand. There were rumors that he was addicted to heroin. I don't know if those rumors were ever true. He seems to have lived a very nice life.
A quiet life. Like he went from being like our child star. Like he went from being our child star, like growing up with him, to like just kind of disappeared. Like we were like, I wonder whatever happened to that guy. But nobody was ever like, we got to find out. They were like, yeah, he just kind of just like fucking gone. Like,
well, but I don't think he's disappeared. Like you say, he disappeared.
He
disappeared, but I think
he disappeared like out of like the mainstream like movies. Like you're not getting movie guy to go like, you know, some movies he did were really good, underrated. I think, at my point, some of his movies, but he was on Hollywood or Broadway. But like he wasn't like mainstream movies where if you're just a guy in Northern Ontario, you're just not going to go watch the next. You know, we go watch a rock movie, like The Rock's next film.
Yeah, well, he's always stayed active. He's been doing theater. He's pursued the craft of acting, doing theater, been in movies on and off. Obviously, he's never been able to top Home Alone, but he's been in things here and there.
Let's talk about his career for a second. You imagine your first movie's Home Alone? It's down. It's got to be downhill from there. Like, there's no other fucking movie. Like, if you think about like longevity movies, like, and it's not only like because it's a Christmas movie, like, there's not a lot of other movies where you can just like go back and like, yeah, you know what? This is a great bunch of movies. Like, you know, like there's not like those classic films. Like, there's not a lot of those out there. And your first movie's that? Yeah. What else are you gonna do?
Yeah, you're right. It is a classic movie. It gets shown every year for Christmas, so it's hard to top. You know, Macaulay Culkin might have, you know, something in him to get to that height again. But you know, he seems like one of these few child actors that seems pretty well adjusted. You know, he went on Joe Rogan.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was going to say. He would come to our house and have a beer. Yeah, you know what I mean? He'd hang out.
Yeah, seems pretty well adjusted. I know he's been at a couple wrestling shows. Pro Wrestling Gorilla out in California has had him there. He threw micro machines on a guy who fell and you know, in the middle of a wrestling match. He was in the front row. He threw some micro machines or some Legos or something and made the guy slip and fall, stuff like that. A lot of cool stuff. Seems like he's having a good time, enjoying his fame.
Yeah, again, the micro machines are from Home Alone.
Yeah, exactly. So he seems like he's living a great life. He went on Joe Rogan and basically said he's planning on having some babies with his love, and made some jokes about how he's going to put a couple babies into her, and, you know, followed through on it, actually did it.
Straight up clutch move, man. Called his shot.
Yeah, man. Good for him. I'm happy for him. I'm sure you are too.
I love it. I love that idea. Like, I think good for him.
All right, man. That's it for the show.
Thank God. That was a good one.
Yeah, it was a pretty good show. I'm going to say thanks to everyone for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and please share our videos if you see something that maybe somebody's talking about, something controversial, you want to get a little bit of insight from us, something, you know, funny or cool or whatever. You wanna put in your 2 cents. Well, share our video, and maybe they'll enjoy it. Hopefully they'll be a fan. Thanks for watching, everybody.